Hey now everyone, it's Steve Sievers for Bionic Buzz. We are at the Ultimate Convention D23 2022 here at the Anaheim Convention Center. This place has got everything for all the diehard Disney fans like myself. Now before we get started, please help us out get more great content like this. All you have to do is hit that subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. Now let's go see who we can talk to.
Daughter?
Yes.
Mom and son.
Yes.
What is your actual relationship like?
We met a month ago?
Yeah.
A little more than a month ago, yeah.
We've been playing mother and son for about a year. I don't know
Yeah.
when we started recording, but the relationship in the show is that my character's name is also Carolina, so it's confusing. I'm Carolina Ravassa, my character's Carolina. And I'm a hardworking mom that just wants to get help from the kids to, keep household chores going and also do fun stuff and just be a good mom. And little do I know, they're off
Doing superhero stuff. Yeah, I mean she's just like the loving Latin mother that is the glue of the family, and we're just like the chaos that ensues, I think.
But I don't know that real chaos is ensuing. I'm just like, oh, they burned the ropa vieja or something went down. But, I don't really know that y'all have a talking hamster and you wear capes and fly all over the place.
Yeah, my mom didn't know that about me either.
Right.
Yeah.
What's it like having the Venezuelan connection on the show? Because it's becoming more inclusive of everybody around, especially in cartoons for kids to see. What's it like playing a role like that?
I mean, I would say that I feel like this show is pretty all-inclusive with all Latin people. You know what I mean? I'd say that it's because there's a whole bunch of different Latin people on this show. Meli's Venezuelan, I'm Puerto Rican, you're Colombian, and then Joa's also Venezuelan. So there's a bunch of different Latin influence on this show, and I think that is just awesome because it's very inclusive and it makes everyone feel very relatable. It's very relatable for every Latin group. Yeah.
I think it's just special to see Disney doing shows that show bicultural families.
Yep.
Because we get to see ourselves represented, whether we're Chinese American or Colombian American. You're just seeing a different culture influencing the lives of kids or whatever's happening in the household with the food, with whatever's hanging up on the walls or the decor. And I think the more specific we get about different Latin cultures, we're just kind of showing the world that this is America these days, or it's the world in general. So,
Yeah, honestly, yeah.
yeah.
I would love to know, especially in the crazy world of the pandemic, what's been the recording process for you all?
Just honestly, so we'll get for me, I get the email. I'm like, okay, cool, I'm going in on, let's say, Tuesday. So I'll go in Tuesday morning, show up in my PJs, no one's in the booth, and then they just zoom in, and then we just kind of talk and do whatever, and
Show up in your pajamas? I did not raise you like this, son.
Don't act like you know. Don't act like you know.
I go to the studio, so I do not show up in my pajamas.
I show up to the studio in my pajamas, but it's great. It's super fun, and I just have a great time. Yeah.
At the beginning, when we first worked on the pilot, it's funny. I was actually the reporter in the pilot. I was not the mom. But I recorded from my closet, and it was a tight little closet because I didn't have a proper studio set up, and it was really hot. And I was nervous that I was going to not do the knobs properly. But then once the show got picked up and we started working on it full-fledged, I luckily always choose to go into the studio so that a sound engineer takes care of the important stuff.
Yep.
But they're, they take care of all the crazy COVID protocols, and I don't touch anybody or see anybody. And so, luckily everybody zooms in except the sound engineer and myself were there. So it's fun to kind of get everybody, Joanna gives her input, then Dan gives his input. We have a fabulous voice director, Sarah Sherman, so it's a good time. It's always fun.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I always just call Sarah Bear.
Oh, Sarah, yeah.
Nice to meet you guys.
Nice to meet you.
I just wanted to ask, so the play on the words of the title, so Hamster and Gretel, I wanted to know, when was the first time you ever heard the story of Hansel and Gretel originally? Because I know all of us, we all love fairy tales at some point in time, but I wanted to hear when you heard that originally.
Oh, jeez.
Probably when I was tiny. That and Little Red Riding Hood, and three maybe. As long as one can remember what a fairy tale is.
Yeah,
I think,
yeah. I feel like that one's just one of those ones everyone has heard of, right?
Yeah.
So much so that I probably don't even remember the whole entire story of Hansel and Gretel. Oh my god.
Now we're like hamster and Hansel.
Yeah,
Now you're trying to remember it's hamster.
We can't.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. I always mix them up now. It's so yeah.
My friends are like, oh, I gotta watch that show, Hansel and Gretel. No, Hamster and Gretel. Yeah.
Alright. Well,
I love the show. Interview guys in San Diego Comic.
Yes, yeah, I was gonna
actually
say.
talk about it now. The Slavery Rivalry episode. You actually get to sing in that one, right?
Yeah.
Can you talk about putting together a song for that? And that was a fun episode.
Yeah, no, I mean, honestly, like, I think for all the music in the show, like, Dan was very, like, gung-ho about, like, we need to make cool music for the show that's, like, relatable and fun, and, like, even though it does have themes that pertain to the show, it's also, like, super, like, you can listen to it and, like, still enjoy it outside of the show, and I think, like, Dan has done such a great job of like cultivating like a really cool little soundtrack for the show. I think it's been really fun.
We don't record together, unfortunately, so I did not know I had great chemistry with my husband, which is awesome. And then when I first watched the episode where he sings, I texted him and I'm like, oh my God, you have such a pretty voice. I'm so proud of you. Because it's awesome to see it all put together, you know, because we read the pilot, we read all the episodes, but we don't really know how it's going to come together.
Yeah.
So it's really fun to see all the animation.
You kind of alluded to this at the top, but was your character named after you?
No, it's funny. I auditioned. They were auditioning for a Venezuelan character, and her name was Carolina, and I was like, okay, let's do this. No, she was not named after me, but I will take the name happily because it's a good one. Yeah.
You guys mentioned a lot of like different Latin influences. Has there ever been a moment where you had to kind of correct somebody, like, oh, this is kind of different in Puerto Rican culture?
Not on this show. Not on the show. No, I think Dan has done his
well, I think
research.
the really great thing about this show is it's not just Dan does his research, but he also hired writers. That
are Latin.
You know, we have a Mexican writer, Joanna's the head editor, and she's Venezuelan. So my character is Venezuelan, and everything in the household is very Venezuelan, and I like that the more specific we get with all cultures, like Vietnamese is different to Thai to Laos, right? So the more we show specificity, the more people will see themselves, but also appreciate, oh, you're not just putting a Mexican sombrero on the wall. You're doing something very specific to Venezuelan culture, and then other Latinos also appreciate that because we are showing specificity. So Joanna's really good about doing that and working with the other Latino writers in the writers' room, and it's a really diverse writers' room, which I mean, I did not choose them, but I feel very proud of because they're doing it justice, you know. So sometimes we do have to go, oh, that's not real to Mexican culture or to Colombian culture, and I just feel like in this case everything's spot on and it feels really good.
Yeah, and Dan pulls a lot from like his real life for the show. You know what I mean? Obviously, Dan's wife is also Venezuelan, and like it's kind of like a little bit about his life as well.
A little meta.
Yeah, it's a little meta.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know if you noticed, but like my dad on the show looks just like Dan in real life. I don't know if anyone has noticed that, but genuinely, like Dan has just pulled so much from his real life, and I think that like that's also what brings this show and makes it feel so personable and like fun to watch because it's just like feels like real life, you know?
Specific,
yeah.
So Michael, now that you got your feet wet in voice acting, you got another project that is well fitting for D23 today. Could you possibly hint a little bit what we can expect from Moon Girl and Devil Dinosaur?
I mean, so I obviously like I'm not super involved in that show, but I think that I could say that my character Eduardo is like definitely being expanded upon in this next season, but I think that's all I'm allowed to say. I don't really know what I'm allowed to say, so I'm not allowed to say anything and not ruin anything. You know what I'm saying? So
I'm so proud of my multi-talented.
We're at D23. What's your favorite Disney cartoon?
Timon and Pumbaa are like my diehard since the beginning. Like if I could be somebody, it would be Timon. So
I think probably Lilo and Stitch. I love Lilo and Stitch. It was so good.
Great answer. That's a great answer.
Yeah.
And as a Colombian, I love Encanto, obviously.
Oh yeah, that was good.
Yeah, but we don't talk about Bruno, so I'll just.
Stop.
Sorry, mom jokes.
That was so good.
Oh, he's such a
How many more
son.
episodes do we have left to come out? I know not all are out yet. Right?
We've done 30 so far.
Okay.
For Hamster and Gretel.
Yeah, we've done
and we've
a lot.
only five have come out. So yeah, we have a lot coming.
Yeah, I think there's like I don't know, like 50 or 60 or something. Like, well, it's like you know, because
So
it's
there's
split up
60
in,
because they're two.
they're
so,
two per, yeah.
So they're 30, but really 60.
yeah, something like that. Yeah.
That's a lot. I don't understand how they come up with storylines for every episode.
Yeah,
That is insane.
this.
Is there more songs, or do you get to sing at some point?
Hey, I do not sing. I sing in the shower. That's the extent of my singing abilities. No, I don't sing. But Carolina's in quite a few episodes.
Yeah, no, and honestly, like, they're doing such a. I don't want to ruin anything, but they do a lot of like great work to like kind of bring like references back from like older episodes into the new episodes. So like, definitely just be on the lookout for that. They've been very mindful about what they've been doing throughout the season, so it's been really cool.
Thank you. So you both play about 100,000 characters. Who is the
my gosh, you got to start with this. You've played more characters than I have.
Well, first of all, Thomas was in Phineas and Ferb Kansas Against the Universe.
Yes.
Was it Throat Lobster?
Throat Lobster.
Throat
Wow.
Lobster, the TVOs.
How did you?
I was in there with you.
Oh my gosh.
We were co-stars. Thomas. No, I'm just kidding. But it's always really fun to get to, voice characters with people who are also fans of voiceover like us. And, you're a Disney fan as well.
Yes, big fan. Yeah, Throat Lobster definitely is near and dear to my heart, just because that was my first introduction to professional voiceover.
Right.
And it was really fun. That was my first experience working with Dan too.
And it's amazing because I call it just sort of like the Dandom, to be a part of the Dan fandom. You find yourself in situations where now you're back as Neighslayer.
Yes.
For me, voicing Fist Puncher is just a dream come true. I'm voicing a villain opposite Allison Stoner, who I'm such a fan of. It's great.
That's so cool.
I'd say Fist Puncher and Big Baby, who's not been revealed yet, is probably really my favorite.
I'm very excited to see Big Baby.
Big Baby. Very fun.
Oh, wow.
It's
a sneak peek.
A little bit, yeah. NDA.
I'm good. Move on. You literally just broke me right there.
There has to be a villain that talks about NDAs.
Oh, for sure.
There's got to be an NDA villain.
I was talking about my favorite episode, the brother rivalries, sibling rivalries.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
That was
That's
episode
with you.
3. Yes, and
Yes.
Allison, and you finally get to meet the Destructress and Fist Puncher. We definitely get to reoccur and provide. I think what's cool is we're providing the other sibling dynamic, because if you have siblings, not always siblings get along. Shocking.
It has to be either you have siblings.
I do. Yeah, I do.
Absolutely. 3 brothers.
Oh wow. Where are you in,
lots of fights.
Middle, older.
I am the 3rd.
Okay.
Can you tell the need for attention?
Well, and I'm the older sibling, so getting to play the younger sibling against Allison is a trip.
Yes.
Only by 3 minutes.
Only by 3 minutes, yeah. Oh, thanks, Lauren. But my real life sister Chloe, who is a lot like the Destructress, very. She actually kind of even talks a little like Allison.
Oh,
so it's really funny to be able to art and life, right?
I love that.
It's great.
I mean, I can't think there's a lot that I can relate to in regards to my character. He's a half horse, half man, track star, frat boy, rapper. And so there's not a lot of overlap there, but it's fun to pretend.
But also, they made him look like you.
They did. He didn't originally, and they showed me. I remember seeing original sketches.
Yeah.
And then he did say that they're making some tweaks to make him a little bit more like you. I was like, oh, okay. And then when the episode premiered, I'm like, wow, they definitely
really
lifted me off the page right there.
Well, let's hope that Big Baby's design hasn't shifted, because I'm gonna have to call my agent.
Rock and diapers.
All right, so obviously being NDA friendly here. So only 4 episodes in, a lot more to go. If I do the math,
We got 30 episodes total, and those get broken up into basically two double pairs.
Yeah, what's a few words or statements you can make about the excitement fans and audience can look forward to this series?
Well, obviously, I think Dan has been saying it has been taking off really well. The success on it has been looking very nice. And I have no idea what they don't tell me anything, but I am hoping that leads to, I don't know, any sort of return appearances.
I think anything with the Phineas and Ferb world, it isn't about. What I love about Dan is that the stories are not about just trying to tell them for the sake of telling them. So anything that happens in the show is happening for a narrative reason.
That's true.
The groundwork is being laid in a really cool way. Plus using that villain of the week kind of dynamic.
Yeah.
You just never know who's going to pop in. And I will say without saying anything, some of the villains coming up are some of my favorite. I'm here with a couple of my favorite villains. Myself aside. But we have some amazing guests. And some amazing baddies on the way. So,
Yes. Okay.
It's my favorite.
Yes.
Have you had the opportunity to record together, or has it been remote?
No, but
remote.
that would be. It has
I
been
would do
remote, but that would be amazing.
Yeah, let's make that happen.
I know. If not here, for something.
Yeah, we'll figure it out.
So there's a lot of experience, a lot of a good mixing bowl of talent and experience with this cast. You all obviously got to hang out with San Diego Comic-Con.
Yeah.
I wonder what those kind of conversations has been.
I did not get to go to San Diego Comic-Con. I was lucky enough to come over here for this one.
We're so excited to have you here. I mean, I think that's the cool part is that the cast is so expansive that it's hard to get it all in one place.
Yeah, how was that though?
It was fun. I mean, we had Liza Koshy was there, Allison was there, and it was so great. And intermittently we've had small, I call them ham fam events, because the cast and crew, like I really do feel like a certain, it's like a sports team almost. Like I just feel close to everybody in a way that like even before we
good
met,
vibe.
it was just like I was rooting for Thomas and excited for Thomas's episode. And Karina, who voices La Cebolla, I literally was texting Dan like, "Who is she?" Because she's my favorite. And if you haven't checked that episode out, it literally is show-stopping. And it's just so great. But getting to have time together in person is so fun. We had a small premiere. Dan had hosted in his backyard.
I didn't get to see. He invited me out, and I couldn't travel out there. I was so mad.
Well, if there's a season 2,
yes,
you know, we'll all be together. So.
Yes, definitely. I love this group of people.
Yeah.
What have you guys thought about the fan event here? Because now you guys, as your characters, are on the roster list of, you know, voiceover talent like Corey Burton and Jim Cummings and Tony J, right?
Yeah. Wow, Tony J?
Yeah.
You're dropping Frollo at me?
Of course I'm dropping.
He voiced Frollo and Hunchback.
Yes.
I took over for Shere Khan.
Yes.
Don't talk to me about Tony
Reaper.
J. Yes, yes.
Was there a specific voiceover artist that you in a Disney film that you just grew up and you're like, I would love?
Well, you said Corey Burton.
Corey Burton. Yeah. I mean, because like freaking Kingdom Hearts.
Oh, come on.
First and foremost.
Yeah, absolutely.
Wasn't he in Chip and Dale?
He's Dale. So
he's Dale.
He's voiced Dale. Corey Burton, if you haven't looked him up, he's voiced Dale. He's the voice of the Disneyland tram. So, like, remain seated, please, Corey.
Yeah.
He also took
I gotta have more conversations with you.
No,
I think there's a lot of Easter eggs.
For sure.
I love this stuff.
Yeah,
okay.
Corey's great. You said Jim Cummings.
Yes.
One of I admire Jim's talent.
I have gotten to do a video with Jim, and he's so chill and he's so friendly.
Yeah, and when you talk about
such cool people.
No, they are. And you talk about Kingdom Hearts, and I got into voiceover because I, at the age of 15, played Kingdom Hearts 2, and the scene when Goofy dies for 3 minutes. It's been out!
Corey,
for 17 years.
Goofy dies.
And I remember, this is art. And when I decided that I wanted to get into voiceover, I wrote a letter to the voice of Goofy, Bill Farmer. And that's what led to everything. It opened all these doors. 6 months later, he wrote back, and I was working at Disneyland at the time. And so having the door opened by a literal Disney legend who showed me the ropes of this is what you do. And more importantly than the voices, how to be a good person. And so I think that's a lesson that'll carry with me at all times. Because these characters are going to live past us all. And so even Fist Puncher, like I'm hoping in 2100, someone's like, I'm the 5th Fist Puncher.
Right.
Yes.
Coming back to a D23.
Yes. D2300.
In Fist Puncher cosplay.
Yes.
Yeah. That's the dream.
Do you guys have any like special routines that you do to kind of like?
Yeah, like vocal routines or warm-ups?
Oh my gosh. I mean, I think just my day-to-day, sitting in the car, talking to myself, is usually a warm-up routine. All in. I should vlog it. It's scary sometimes.
Yeah, singing, humming, and then I do a lot of creature stuff and vocal manipulation. So I've got like vocal straws and really technical, goofy stuff I have to do.
The vocal straws.
Yeah, the vocal straws.
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Of course, thank you.
Hi everyone, I'm Joanna Hausmann. I'm the head writer and co-producer. This is the lovely star,
Karina from Venezuela, La Cebolla. That's what I do. I'm the villain.
I want to.
So you're the hamster likes to watch, right? The soap opera?
Oh yeah.
I am.
Oh, all right, so we see a little bit of story arc in the 5 episodes tomorrow. There's going to be more watching? Because I think it's pretty cool.
I hope.
No, she's coming back. La Cebolla is my favorite villain too.
Okay.
Have you seen it?
Oh, yeah, I love it.
Don't I sing great?
Yes!
And I look lovely. I wish I had that body.
I think there should be a spin-off actual series for it too. You know?
Oh my God, yes, we should do a spin-off series of La Cebolla.
Wow, what a great idea.
What a great idea.
Joanna.
I'm gonna start writing it now.
Will either of you ever look at onions the same way again?
Never again. Me neither.
You know what's funny? One of my very good friends was like, I haven't watched your show, but my kid has, and we were in the grocery store, and he was like, please, mommy, can I please buy an onion? I want to dance with it. And she was like, I had no context. And I thought my son was going crazy, but no, it's because of La Cebolla.
It's because of my superpower. I'm sorry, that's my superpower.
Yes, yes. But, you know, one of the things I love the most about that episode is like how we were able to ingrain and naturally incorporate Latino elements into the show and make it feel authentic and real without it feeling like culture is what the show is. It's just the filter with which the villains and the main characters live their life. And making it very specific and real. You did telenovelas as a kid?
Thank you, my that was long time ago. Now I do Netflix and series. No, I used to do telenovelas for real. I was in the soap opera scene back in the 80s. So I know what it means. I know that it's a very important part of our culture. Even though there's not soap operas anymore, we have transcend and we've, but it's awesome.
Yeah, and then we incorporated it into the backstory of the villain. Because we were like, I mean, we gotta give her, because one of the rules we have in the writers' room is like, is the idea dumb enough? Is it ridiculous enough? Is it something that no one else has really done? Like a villain who can talk to onions is like it's an example of something we just like really dive into the absurd and the humor of it. But it can't just be absurd. There's got to be a lot of justification and making the character feel three-dimensional. So justifying the dumb idea of having a villain speak to onions, giving it that character, that villain, a really dense backstory so that it's justified, it feels natural, is the way that we make dumb ideas seem smart.
Came out really well.
Yeah.
It's very reminiscent of the Disney Saturday morning cartoons I would watch because they had that absurdity. So it's so cool to see that this is like its own Saturday morning cartoon. In my opinion, just watching it just makes me feel like I'm a kid again.
Yes.
So when you guys are making, what's the best part that makes you feel like a kid while making? Like you obviously are writing specific parts, but is there a specific character that makes you feel like, oh my gosh, this is somebody I would love to see?
That's a great question. I'll speak from my perspective. I think, we've written 60 scripts for this show. That's 30 episodes, but it's 60 11-minute scripts. That's a lot of scripts.
Yeah.
You'd think we'd get bored, but every episode we try to find something that gives us like pure joy in the writer's room. So we have a rule that at one point in every episode, we as a writer's room have to laugh out loud. And that every page of every script has at least four jokes. 4 jokes minimum per page. We can maybe cut that in animatic and a thematic and whatever, but the rule is the density of the jokes and the humor. That reminds me of when I was a kid. How fast it comes at you. How you don't have a moment to rest visually, auditively. Everything moves so quickly. And I think that's what this show gives, is the density with which it like hits you and smacks you in the face with action and comedy and color and characters. And I personally really love Hamster, because Hamster sort of is this like constant, deadpan, very cynical character in this very poppy world. So I like that because it contrasts it a little bit.
I always think of him as like Silent Bob. He doesn't say a lot, but what he does says it's very important.
Exactly.
I am not like that. I talk a lot and I say very little.
Do you? You think so?
Have you noticed, Karina?
Nah. Thank God.
Oh, is that Twitter? Yes, it is. Yes. Yeah. How about you? Who's your favorite character other than yourself?
Yes. Yes.
Yourself.
Yes, myself.
Yes, yourself.
I haven't seen the whole show, that's the truth.
Yet.
Yes.
Well, it hasn't come out all yet.
But I've seen many episodes.
With you stepping into the group, voice acting, was there any bit of hesitations you've had, or was there any bit of maybe motivation you had?
Yes. I mean, when you're little and you're an artist, you always dream of being in Hollywood. Of course, I want to make movies. I never imagined that it would be like this, but I'm here already. So I did once a few years ago in Spanish. I did a Tinkerbell movie. I was a fairy, so this is very different. This is more active, more action, more. Today is very, very different. So I'm here, and I was excited, it's still an adventure because this is not what I do, and this is not my language, and I don't speak so well, but it's interesting, and I don't know.
But your character seemingly
and my
fits into
character
our
is
world.
super awesome, and it's funny, and it's sexy, and I wanna be her, and I wanna have that body, and I'm working on it, but I make it mine. She has my voice, so it's fun. It's fun. The whole thing is to have fun and to be kid-like and to enjoy, and it was very funny. The first time I saw it, I cracked. It was very, very funny and very smart. Even though you say it's dumb, yes it is, but it's very smart.
The dumb,
it's,
saying it's dumb doesn't mean it's not intelligent.
Right.
I think sometimes you have to have an immense amount of bravery to write something dumb that's smart.
Absolutely.
Do you know what I mean?
Absolutely.
You could say let's write about a villain called Plato, and he is a philosophical villain, or we can
ridiculous.
You make it ridiculous and add that after.
Absolutely.
Yes.
It's a little ridiculous. I love it.
It's a little ridiculous.
I love to be ridiculous.
Yeah.
I love to be ridiculous. Love it.
Well, we're Venezuelans. We're naturally ridiculous.
Yeah, we are actually ridiculous.
Did either of you have the chance to work in person, or was it all remote?
It's been almost 2 years of creating the show. It's been all remote. And it's been a really bizarre experience to craft and create a world from scratch. From the brainstorming of the rules of this world. What are the rules of this world? When can Gretel change into a superhero outfit? What do her parents do? What is all these little details. I was in New York, someone else was in Colorado, we were all in our houses. And it felt like we were all joining in together to create something, but it also felt fake because I was just clicking and clacking on my laptop. And it wasn't tangible. But when it finally hit Disney Plus and we all love each other, we love the cast, we've just really connected with everyone that's been a part of this. It's felt real now. Because I'd have to pinch myself. I'd be like, am I making the show? Or am I is this
surreal.
A beautiful mind? And I'm just but I'm glad we are starting to be more in person, and I think that's, just meeting Karina in person, meeting a lot of the cast in person has really solidified the reality that we've been infiltrating.
I loved it.
I loved it. Thank you.
That's amazing.
Oh,
you said everything.
I thought you were saying no. Don't clap.
Well, I wanted to ask, we're here at D23, what is something that you're geeking out about that you're not working on that's been announced or showcased?
Oh my gosh. ¿Qué es algo acá que has visto que you're excited about?
Wow, I haven't seen anything really. We've been working.
We haven't. I haven't
seen anything. I've seen a lot of costumes.
No, you know what? The costumes.
Awesome costumes. Awesome costumes.
But is it too much for you right now?
Yes, a little bit. Yes. Yes.
There's a lot to grasp,
It's a lot. And it's big. It's huge. So it's too much information for many people. The fans are, they come dressed up as the characters, and they have tattoos. Tattoos. See, it's amazing. I mean, they tattoo characters. In their bodies.
And we've been isolated this whole time, and now it's we're thrown into it.
Right.
In a way, people are dressed up as some of our characters, and we're like, whoa, this is real. It's a lot.
It's happening.
It's a lot. We're geeking out with each other and with you guys.
Thank you guys.
Thank you so much.
Let's start off by first seeing the dad finally in the show, and oh my God, it's you.
Yes.
How did that get put together?
That was. It's funny because I was like, well, make the mom and the dad just look like, because we decided it was going to be an American dad and a Venezuelan mom, because my wife, her mom is Venezuelan, and we felt like, oh, let's just lean into that multiculturalism, and because I think it gives our lives a little bit of flavor, and we felt like we can flavor the show that way. And once I did that, I was like, well, I should just draw it to look like us, and I won't have to think about, like a new character design. And then, like, the dog that the family has is our dog.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's like exactly like I did. Like I drew a lot from life in this. Fred is a friend of mine's daughter. Like when she was 12, I had this picture of her that just had so much attitude to it. I was like, I'm just gonna make it look like Winnie and stuff. So it's been fun.
I'd love to hear from both of you what it's like collaborating on a creative project with family members.
It's easy. It's like, well, not for you. Kind of for me. Because I can just like be on the couch watching TV and like in a blanket, in a sleeping bag even, and just waddle on over to my dad's office and just record. Because we do all of our recordings from home now because it's less stressful. And it's really chill. It just doesn't feel like working. It just feels like having fun.
How did you get? I just want to go off that a little bit. How did you actually get started? Was it because you see you guys on TikTok all the time? Was it just natural progression? You saw what your dad was doing and was like, I want to be part of that, or how did that come to be? Because now you're the star of it.
I went to work with my dad a few times. I don't remember why, but there's like some 2-week period where I went with you every day.
Yeah, she was there for a while. One of the other.
I wanted to tell this.
Oh, go ahead. Excuse me. I'll just be back here.
Some of his friends were making their own shows while he was working on his last show, and so they like would need someone to do templates for them so that they could make an animatic to show to the executives. So I was there and I was young, so I could play young characters, boys and girls, because my voice is, I guess, kind of deep. And so I did temp lines for this one little kid. I forgot his name, but he was pretty similar to the character I play now, because he was very high energy, very loud. I love being loud. It was so much fun to record, just like screaming all the time. And that got me really excited, so I auditioned for that character, and then I did a few, like 2 or 3 other auditions, and none of those shows got picked up though, sadly. And then I even did temp lines like from home during quarantine for some of my dad's friends. And so I ended up doing temp lines for him when he started making Hamster and Gretel. And I just stuck with it, and I did like an official audition basically, and got the part. Like I just stayed from the very beginning.
Yeah, it was originally just like me doing all the male parts and her and her sister doing all the female parts. And then we needed a pilot that we could test, and we wanted to so we got some people in, and we sort of recast all the roles except her because she sounded right for it, and we were all like, we'll just test it like this and see how it goes. And then that character tested like really, really high, and we were like, oh, maybe it's not broken. And like by then, like I think the executives have sort of gotten gotten in love with her voice as the character, and she just made it through all the iterations. And I remember at one point they said, let's just go with Meli. And I was like, okay, she'll be happy. It's good. I don't know. I don't want to have to try to refigure this character because the character's sort of based in some ways on her anyway. Just like so, and she's got my sense of humor. So
that seems questionable.
Yes.
Dan, you have a very legendary resume and continue to just reinvent yourself in these projects. What's sort of the think tank for you to be so creative? It's really the only thing I do. It's the only thing I do well is be creative. It's like people say like how do you because I've been nominated for Emmys in like 5 different categories that I'm doing all the time. So I'm always. But I always say, like it's the one thing I do. If I was unemployed, I would be telling stupid stories and writing stupid songs and talking in silly voices and drawing silly pictures. I just wouldn't be getting paid for it, and so it doesn't feel like work to me. It just feels like, oh, I get to do this and I get to do this and I get to do this. Thank you.
One I'm going to come with a fan question.
Okay.
So I'm a big fan of World Showcase at Epcot, and I loved Agent P was
Yes.
there, and they had all the interactive stuff.
That
So
was
I wanted to
spectacular.
know if Hamster and Gretel got to be in the World Showcase, which pavilion would you like to do a little activity in or solve or have a mystery?
Oh, you know, I think it would be like there's a Latin American pavilion right there. There's like Mexico or something like that. I think it would be there because I think that you know we've written some Latin songs for the show, and that I think might fit really well there, like the Ropa Vieja that brings us together. I think that would be really fun. So let's hope.
Yeah,
let's hope.
that would be great.
You know, Agent P is leaving. I think they've shut that down now, right?
But like,
They're supposedly sending me one of the Doofenshmirtz statues. They were like, hey, they sent me a picture and said, do you want this? Would you have a place to put this? And I was like, I will make a place to put that if you send it to me, absolutely. But I haven't gotten it yet, so I'm like knocking on wood. I hope like that didn't get derailed at some point.
Let's talk about some of my favorite things from the episodes. The Sibling Rivalry song.
Yes.
And then I forget the name of the villain, but the one that shoots Cat from a
That's
cat.
my favorite.
That's the coolest concept.
copycat.
And I
Yes.
tell their Cat's got revenge of him.
Yes, he's called Copycat, and he's a cat-themed villain, and he has a gun that shoots hairballs that stick to things and like that. And then occasionally he goes, and nothing happens.
It makes like a
and he
cough
opens
sound.
up and he pulls out a hairless cat and puts it down and grabs another cat, a cat with a lot of fur and puts it in. And then he's going for a while. He has to reload it like 3 times.
Yeah.
I love that villain. But the thing I love most about that episode is something that I feel like we would not have been allowed to do a while back that we can do now because of the success of superhero female characters like Wonder Woman and Captain Marvel and Black Widow, because it's now okay for them to be in really sort of life and death sort of situations. And there's a scene in that where he's going after her with his like, you know, claws, and she's stuck to a car, so she turns the car around and like to take the blow, and then he picks the car up and smashes her through like 3 levels of a parking garage in a very brutal way that's still funny, but it's really like when I first saw it, I was like, I hope they let us do this, because I imagine if we were doing this in the 80s, we would not have been allowed to hurt a little girl like that, because she's obviously hurting, you know, like she's indestructible, so she's not really, it's not going to be permanent. But I love that we got to do that.
Very cool.
And when I showed it to my daughters, they were like, "That is cool!" Like they weren't like afraid for her or anything. They immediately were like, "This is the coolest thing I've seen." So it makes me happy.
Well, thank you guys so much.
Thanks for watching, everyone. If you like what you saw, like I said earlier, please give this video a thumbs up and hit that subscribe button. We appreciate your support. You can check out all our back catalog with great celebrity interviews we've done over the years. We got more great stuff coming down the line, so make sure to follow us on all social media at Bionic Buzz.